What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You already know what it is. Welcome back to the Xpansion Pack Podcast, where we download this week's gaming news and we bring it straight to you. I'm your host, Denzel, aka Black Ice, joined by my amazing co-hosts each and every week. Starting off with my boy Manny, aka Goopmaster Flex. What's going on, bro?
You already know, stay gooping.
You already know. And then we got my boy down low, Chris, aka May 25th. What's going on, bro?
Another day, another dollar. But I'm here to talk about some games. Let's talk about some games.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
A lot of news actually last week. We're definitely not going to get into all of it. Not going to get into all of it this week. We got three main topics here that we'll get into shortly, but you already know what we do. We started off with what you people really want to see here. It's the icebreaker. So, Chris.
All right, so for this week's icebreaker, it's a little bit different, a little weird, but I felt like it was going to be a good question. This week the question is, if you had a foreign friend, right, somebody who wasn't really too keen on American culture, and you wanted to try to expose them to American culture, what video game would you use to do so? Like, let's say, for example, this dude or this gal, maybe they didn't know too much English and they needed a reference, or they are from a more sheltered culture or something like that. Maybe you gotta break them into what being an American is all about. How would you do it?
This might not even be the best answer, but it's the only answer I got, and it's a funny one. For me, I'm gonna let them play Call of Duty, but here's what it is, right? Now listen. It's not about the game.
I already know where you're
going. It's not
with
about the game.
I already know where you're going.
It's about the pregame lobbies.
It's about the goddamn lobbies, right? I'm gonna take my foreign friend and put his headphones on his head and say, "My friend, I know you watch a lot of movies and all that stuff, but you need to listen to these headphones because this is how people in America talk. This is how people in America act. Okay, not everybody." But a good majority of us, we ain't shit. We ain't shit. And this is the quickest way for you to realize that. So, my friend, get into these lobbies, buddy, and start shooting some heads off. But understand, you're going to get called everything under the sun. It's part of the game, bro.
Yo.
Modern Warfare 2 lobbies were golden.
Facts, bro. I'm telling you, man, you grow some hair on your nuts being in the lobbies, man. So, yeah, foreign friend. Get your ass in these lobbies and learn about America. You know what I'm saying? That's
my going back so fast. You're going back.
I guess it depends on what type of foreign, maybe, or something like that, because it depends, I guess. But still, whatever. Put them in them lobbies, man. I think that's a good experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, I guess we also have to assume that wherever they live, they don't get, because obviously Call of Duty is everywhere. So you have to assume that they don't get Call of Duty there. But yeah, interesting.
That's my answer, man. I don't even care if they like playing the game. They ain't got to like the game. I just want you to understand what you are listening to. This is unfiltered. This is what it is. You better get used to it, my boy.
Oh, God. All right. Betty, what you got, man? Curious to hear yours.
This one's a little it makes sense and it don't at the same time because what they do, they do a lot of different things. But to kind of understand the American culture, I feel like Fortnite, might. Here goes that time.
I want to hear the rest. Let him speak. Let him speak.
I think so. It's gonna be. It's interesting because Fortnite does a lot of trends, you know what I'm saying? What's popular around the world. And, a lot of trendy things, you find like some dances. Oh, you got some cosmetics as well. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Fortnite does a lot of getting the trendy things out, which kind of does in a sense help with American culture as well as cultures around the world because they're not just American. And they even have stuff like concerts like Ariana Grande, Travis Scott pulling up and everything like that. So you kind of get that aspect too. I think Fortnite does deserve a little credit for kind of getting the culture in.
You know what, Manny? I really respect that answer. I really do. I really do. Because I feel like a part of me, and I don't mean to hijack your question, Chris. I guess like thinking about it now, maybe a better question would be like, I don't know, if you like met an alien or if you met ET or something like that. If, like you weren't from this planet, you know, and you were introducing someone to like culture on this planet, you know, because I think the two answers that you guys gave are actually really good in that regard. Because we have to assume, if we're going to say like it's a foreign friend, we have to assume that this person, wherever they live, doesn't have these things, because all of these things you just mentioned are extremely international. But right. I will say Fortnite really does a good job with like the pop culture side of things, like whether it's the freaking TikTok dances or like having, you know, like, I don't know, whatever new movie it is that's coming out, like whether it's Spider-Man or like Black Adam or, you know, whatever, like whatever new pop culture thing that's happening, they always find a way to put it into Fortnite. So that's a good answer. That's a really good answer. I respect that one.
He didn't expect us to say these things, man.
I was waiting for like, but how does he do that?
He didn't expect this.
No, because that's Chris. As soon as you said Call of Duty, I was like, there's no way he could be talking about the game. And I was like, he's got to be talking about the lobby. So that made sense. And then Manny, when you said Fortnite, I was like, really, Fortnite? Why you got to bring up Fortnite? But you explained it well, so I respect it. I still feel like there's only one answer to give. There's only one answer, ladies and gentlemen. It's fucking Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is the perfect depiction. Grand Theft Auto 5 in particular is the perfect depiction of life in America. And I don't mean the violence aspects of it. I mean all the other social commentary around like shitty corporations and, you know, stupid social media trends and all these other things that are going on, right? Not necessarily all the gangbang and all that stuff, but the excess social commentary that happens in Grand Theft Auto. Even just walking around and like hearing someone swear at you about God knows what the fuck else is happening. It's like a very accurate depiction of like New York or Los Angeles or something along those lines. So I just feel like Grand Theft Auto is the correct answer. In a question where there is no wrong answers, Grand Theft Auto is the most correct answer that you can possibly give. That's the hill that I'm going to die on.
I'm not mad at you. For me, that was an obvious answer. So it was like, I can't say Grand Theft Auto.
But that's the thing. It's like sometimes when things are too obvious, you just have to. There's no other way.
Think outside the box sometimes. You know, Denzel told us what he was gonna pick, so we knew what he was gonna do. But like, you know, we had to work around it. Man, or else we all would have said Grand Theft Auto.
I think we should just take our foreign friend and put him through the gauntlet. Let him play a little Fortnite. Let him put on these headphones and get in this lobby, and then let him Grand Theft Auto, and let him start right up with the first mission with Trevor and them, and let him walk out of the room, give you a synopsis on his experience.
Holmes is not gonna come back out of that room and give you any synopsis. He's gonna pack his bags. He's gonna get back on his plane, and he's going home.
Nah, you don't know that. You don't know that, because what if he came from like a place where he was very what do you call the word? Not isolated, but when like your parents like overprotect you and shelter. There you go. Mm-hmm. And like he didn't get to experience nothing, and then you put him on all this new shit, and now he's like overstimulated, and he's like, "Bro, I want to go home. Where's the Mountain Dew?" What if he does that?
I feel like if you give them the 3 games that we all just mentioned, like, and tell them that this is how it's gonna be when you step outside these doors, he's going home. He's going home. If you tell him that the world is made up of Trevors and people in Fortnite or Call of Duty lobbies, he's going home. Why would you want to? Why would you deal with this?
Cause you grow some hair on your stuff, bruh. You know what I'm saying? This is like a good shot of whiskey. It go down warm. You know what I'm saying?
Just wait until it gets to the multiplayer.
Yeah, I'll get swolled up after that. You know, good stuff. Builds character. Swear to God, it does.
Multiplayer gaming brings out the worst in people, yo. If you tell someone that this is what to expect in America, they're gone. They're gone. There's no other way to put it. They're gone.
I just think it's funny because you're definitely right, but it brings out that unfiltered rage out of folks too, which is like one of very few things in life that can do it like this is gaming. It's hilarious, man. Hilarious.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Good icebreaker as always, Chris. Thank you for that one. Y'all, I gotta say, y'all like I was not expecting the other answers y'all gave. I really respect those. So good stuff. All right. Well, segueing into our first topic for this week here, we were talking about Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, that was my answer for the icebreaker. And Rockstar dropped some unexpected news today. They announced the arrival of something they call GTA Plus, which is a new membership program. That's their membership program. Really just means a subscription service exclusively for Grand Theft Auto Online on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. It launches March 29th and provides easy access to a range of valuable benefits for both new and long-standing players on the latest generation of consoles. They go on to say that being a GTA Plus member gets you a reoccurring monthly payment of 500,000 GTA bucks, which I just want to point out real quick, to buy that with your actual money, that translates to $10 a month. Or yeah, if you were just gonna buy a shark card that gave you 500,000, it would be $10 like US dollars a month. Just want to throw that out there. But yeah, that goes directly into your account, plus the opportunity to claim properties in and around Los Santos that unlock gameplay updates you may have missed out on, special vehicle upgrades, and members only discounts. They go on to say like you get a couple other things like more GTA cash and more rep bonuses and so on and so forth. So this service is going to be, what was the exact thing? $5.99 a month on Xbox and PlayStation 5. So there's a lot of controversy around this thing. Manny, I'm going to start with you immediately because your reaction to this wasn't that great. So I've seen a lot of people who have shared the same reaction as you online. Like they don't want another subscription service, yada, yada, yada. I understand all those things. But I just want to hear your raw reaction. What do you think about this? Why don't you like it?
It's weird, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if you're going to do something like this, they probably should have done something like this a long time ago. And I understand that, like, there's something new for next-gen players, to offer them the opportunity to catch up, or even existing players the opportunity to, like, get some new things, some sweet upgrades for free and all that kind of stuff from, like, some of the stuff that is on this first month list. But I just feel like it's weird for a game that's 9 years old, basically. It'll be 9 years old in, what is it called, September, but, like, either they're planning to make this even more expanded, as in, like, Grand Theft Auto Online is going to continue on to, like, the next Grand Theft Auto game, which would be great because it would suck to have to, like, kind of start all over again while you're paying the subscription, really. But at the same time, it's like, we want something new. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people didn't really like the expanded enhance. I personally enjoyed it. It's free on PlayStation or $10 on Xbox, and it's a nice little graphical boost upgrade. I appreciate it. A lot of people didn't for some reason. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, in the end of the day. But, like, I just feel like this is another way of them to, like, essentially kind of, like, milk the way into us, even though, like, the value is there. Like Denzel said, like, I mean, you're spending basically almost half the price of a shark card for the amount of money you get in the subscription. But I just feel like it's unnecessary at this stage of the game.
Okay. So to your first point, and I've said this on the podcast in the past, I really do think that GTA Online is going to be the thing for forever, right? Like I think that GTA 6 comes along, GTA Online will still exist and will tie into GTA 6. Like there won't be a new thing to re-download, especially the way that they've structured this next gen patch tells me that. I really feel that. So I think GTA Plus I can understand why the annoyance of like a subscription service, and I think that people have a really visceral reaction to subscription service now, even though I feel like there's nothing about this subscription service that forces, I don't know, like the average GTA player doesn't need to get this subscription service to like reap the benefits of Grand Theft Auto Online as a whole. So I I never really fully understand like why people get so upset about this type of stuff. And I know that you're not necessarily that upset, but some of the things I was seeing on Twitter earlier was just like they were just ripping Rockstar apart, and I don't fully understand it because when it comes to these like microtransactions and all these different types of things, again, I feel like you just vote with your wallet. You don't have to buy it. So the fact that it exists, I feel like really shouldn't anger people that much. It's just like just don't buy it. Me as somebody who, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say one thing though that like could be kind of like iffy about the subscription is they do mention in one of the benefits, the principal divest whatever, how they were saying how what is it called? That along with the complimentary house special work upgrades for it before it is made available to purchase by the general public. Like I think it's still kind of wonky that like depending on how long this like, how do I explain it? Where it's just like this benefit of having stuff early compared to like the people in the general public. Like, is this going to be like a week-long thing, a month-long thing? Like, am I not going to be able to drive a car for a month just because I ain't paid for that $6 a month fee of just like being able to drive that car or whatever? Like, that's another worry I have is like, am I going to be forced to like kind of purchase this on the paywall just to have it like day of? Because I like to have, you know, like things when they first come out, of course, because especially when I have the money for it. Because
right,
yeah,
but I mean,
I'm wonky about that. I don't want to feel like I'm forced to guess on just because it's hidden behind the paywall of a subscription just to use it. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a week, I'll wait a week.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the way it's worded is you get it for free. I mean, for free by having a subscription. Whereas a month, maybe let's say a month or a week later or whatever, people who don't have the subscription would have to pay for it. I personally don't see what's wrong with that. Like,
I understand that, but like I said, like I got the money, Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, I could just hop in Cayo Perico, get a quick meal in like 30 minutes, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like for the people that do got the money and they don't want to spend them like real money, just to, like get the stuff for free and like have it like immediately, it's just like it sucks. That's like one of my downsides to this as well. It's just like the fact that there are going to be exclusive items that won't be available for the general player that doesn't want to spend the $6 a month until whenever the dates are. You know, like the fact that it could be a month potentially, just because it is a month's subscription service, is a little, you know, wonky to me.
I would expect maybe a week or two, maybe not necessarily a month. But also, I don't know. I just feel like there's precedent for this in literally every other aspect of gaming, right? Like, I don't know, for example, WWE game, right? Like if you paid a little bit more money, you guys would play that game a little bit earlier. And in some aspects that may give you like a unfair advantage. Like I don't really see it this way, but I can see how someone can make the argument, oh, you have an unfair advantage. You got the game 3 days early. So if you're playing online against people, you know this, you know that. Like, I don't know. There's a precedent for this in all types of games, like Madden and like any of the EA games, right? Like if you have EA access, you can play earlier, this, that, and the other. Like there's precedent for that if you are part of a subscription service. So I don't know. I guess I really just don't see a problem with it. But personally, I also don't give a shit about most of these types of things. Like, like if it's something that I find compelling, I'm going to spend the money regardless. And I'm okay with that, you know? And I also think that GTA Online has existed for so long. Like, it's not particularly surprising to me that they're going to find more ways to monetize it, especially if they're actually going to be adding value to like GTA Online by having newer things, you know, like the things that they did with GTA Online, in my opinion, like this next gen version, are fascinating. And the fact that they only charged $10 for it, where you have Sony charging you, you know, like $70 for basically like a next gen version of a game that you already have, more than likely, you know, like I don't know. I feel like I don't fully understand like the backlash about any of this stuff. But Chris, I want to get your take on this because obviously Man and I have been going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much of a qualm about it. I when it comes to microtransaction stuff, honestly, I really don't have any kind of issues with any of that stuff unless they put like an actual thing in play that's like a necessity to playing the game. Don't put, you know, something that I need to get through a mission in a microtransaction. If you do that to me, then I'm fucking pissed. You know, because then now you're telling me I have to pay more than what I spent on the base game to play the game, and that's bullshit. So when it comes to stuff like that, yeah, I'll get pissed. But everything else, it's like it's optional, you know, especially if it comes down to like vanity stuff. Honestly, if I'm being 100% real, I'm actually kind of surprised that GTA didn't lean more into this kind of thing before, because they have such a grand opportunity to do it with the type of game that they have. You know, like if any game, in my opinion, was ever going to do any kind of microtransactions for vanity items or God knows whatever else, I would have thought it would have been GTA. I would have thought GTA would have been killing it in terms of clothing options and housing options. Being honest, in my opinion, the game that gets that the best is probably Fallout, man. That Fallout, whatever they call it thing, I forgot they call it, the Vault Shop or something like that. There's so much shit in there that you could buy either for your person, for your base, whatever the case is, and you can buy it with your own money, or you could just earn the currency within the game by playing it, and then just do it that way too. It takes longer, yeah, but you don't necessarily have to spend any money. So I also don't really understand why a lot of people online get really, really bent out of shape about it. I guess for them, it's more of a thing where it's like, well, it's the principle of the matter. You shouldn't be trying to do this anyway. But it's like, my guy, like
people have to make money at the end of the day. Like that's a business's whole job. And to your point, Chris, like GTA has been putting out content, and Manny, you can obviously attest to this, like very consistently, right? We had the Dr. Dre thing that dropped, had new music, had new cars, had new this, had new that. Like they don't charge anybody for that. Like every time they put out new content, with the exception of this new next gen like rework entirely, they don't charge money for most of these expansions. Cayo Perico, no money. Doomsday Heist, no money. The heist in general, no money. You know, like all that stuff they've been releasing for 9 years now for free. You know, and I guess really the reason why we haven't seen this subscription service yet is because 9 years ago subscription services really weren't a big thing. Like I think Game Pass is changing the game on a lot of this stuff. Even EA Access to an extent, you know, which came before Game Pass, like changed the game on, you know, from gaming standpoint, understanding what people are willing to pay for in a subscription service. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, it has its, you know, benefits. I think it kind of like it just kind of sucks that like the exclusive things, depending on how long it will be exclusive for, would suck. That's going to be hidden behind the paywall. Wasn't that, like you said? I mean, the value is there just for the money you get along. But and I understand too. They're trying to like have the like new players catch up. The only thing is like I feel like a game that's 9 years old, I don't think there would be like new players really as much.
Well, when you say new players catch up, like so there's some old stuff wrapped in this like first batch of things. But it seems like they're gonna keep releasing new things like in the next, you know, months and, you know, presumably years ahead. So I don't think this is really all about helping players catch up. Like this definitely seems like it's going to be this like thing that will evolve. I just feel like you don't just drop, like Rockstar is very meticulous about the things that they do. They're very particular about how they do things. I don't think you just drop this as a way to get people to catch up without there being like, if you're giving people a reason to catch up, it's because you have plans to make this to be more later, right? Like the game's 9 years old, about to be 10. Doing this now tells me that you plan to make this game last another 9 years, 10 years, whatever. So I don't know. I don't really feel like it's all about just getting people to catch up. Like I think we can, I think ultimately what makes sense is for us to go back and reassess this maybe 2-3 months down the line and see, okay, what value did you add after this first month and then the next month after that? And if we're seeing consistent content getting dropped in there, you know, I guess we'll have to reassess what you think about it, Manny, at that point in time. Does that sound fair?
Yeah. I mean, as long as this somehow ties into the next Grand Theft Auto. And I know it's kind of hard to like think that. And actually, you know, now that I think about it, like the fact that they did say this is only next gen, so like only next gen players couldn't have this, I can kind of see like them somehow tying in Grand Theft Auto Online to the next Grand Theft Auto with like updated graphics and anything like that. So I'm hoping it is like that, where like you still have your nightclubs and everything like that somehow tied into the next Grand Theft Auto, or like I don't know, have a head start or something. If they do that, then Yeah, I would. I would say it's not bad. You know, like, will I buy it? It depends, but in the end,
We'll
like that,
see.
I feel like that's the most important part. Is if it does, if somehow they do tie Grand Theft Auto Online to the next Grand Theft Auto, then yes.
Here's the one thing I will say though, and this is my last point on it.
Mhm.
And to me, this is something that I think Grand Theft Auto in general needs to like lean a little bit more heavily into. Over all these years, over all these different sequels that we've gotten in these games, I really kind of wish at some point they would like do a little bit more with the weapons that they have in the game, because they don't really put a lot of focus on weapons in Grand Theft Auto. Like, you use them a lot, right? There's a lot of shootouts and all that kind of stuff, but there's never anything in the game that ever makes you feel like the guns are yours. So like, you know how, for example, in not Grand Theft Auto, in Call of Duty, they have the whole area where you put all the attachments on and all that kind of good stuff. I think that'd be really cool to have something like that within Grand Theft Auto, to where like your weapons actually kind of mean something. Yeah, it just always felt like in Grand Theft Auto games, I just pick up this gun that's on the ground that's really good and shoot it, but there's nothing more to it than that,
There's a little bit more to it in GTA Online. Like, you can customize.
Yeah, well, I haven't played that.
Yeah. You can customize like the look. I mean, to an extent, like, you're really just putting a skin on it. But I guess that's not that different from Call of Duty too. But you can customize it, whether it has a suppressor, whether you like upgrade it to a Mark II. There is actually a decent amount of customization in GTA Online. So, but
well, I only brought that up because I'm like, if you had something like that you were leaning more into, then this whole GTA Plus thing you could put that kind of stuff into it, and stuff like that as well incentivize me personally to want to do that. Because like, if I see like a crazy attachment and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I might want to get this little subscription thing for that, because that's going to heavily affect my gameplay. So that's different. But that's the only thing to me that I really wish I would see them do more of. But apparently they got to just do it more in the regular games and not just online. Because
I see what you mean, though.
Well, but I think that's the whole. Sorry, Manny, not to cut you off, but I think that's the whole point of this, is to do it online, because the online stuff is like, you're making it an MMO. Like, to do that type of stuff, in my opinion, to do that type of stuff in the main game means nothing, because that's not going to live on in any meaningful way. Like, once you beat the story, yeah, you could drive around and fuck around a little bit, but like, I think the point of it is to do it in the GTA Online, because GTA Online is what makes people like the only reason I went back to playing GTA was to play GTA Online. Like, I don't care enough about GTA 5, like the story and those characters. Like, I think it's cool that I can make my own guy and like have a fully customized experience. Like, I can get my own car, customize the car exactly how I want, buy a particular house that I want to buy a business, build that business up. Like, GTA Online is literally a fully fleshed out MMO, and it's very like under the radar, and I think it's one of the best MMOs that exists right now, and nobody talks about it like that because it's Grand Theft Auto. But like, all those things that you just mentioned, Chris, they're in the game. Like, all of that stuff, like customizing your gun and having that gun live with you for a full 9 years, right? And then having new things that pop up in the game, like that stuff exists. So I don't know. But sorry, man, what were you gonna say though?
I'm not gonna lie, probably forgot.
Okay. Well, we got to move on anyways, because we spent a lot of time on GTA here. So
yeah, we did.
let's change gears over to another open world experience, really, that PlayStation showed off last week in their state of play, and that's Hogwarts Legacy. I have to say, man, I was really, really blown away with this game, like what they showed off in their little 15-minute segment. There's just a lot going on in this game, man. It's like, it really just reminded me of like, I don't know, Bully meets, I don't even know what to say it meets, but like, I don't know, it's just like you actually being in the Hogwarts school and dealing with like the different characters and, the evil kids in the school and all that different type of stuff, and actually like being able to explore so much of the, not only inside of the school, but outside of the school. And like, they showed you flying around in a little Pegasus and whatnot. It just seems like the game is extremely immense. And I'm not entirely sure if it's something that I'm going to buy for $60, $70, but I have to say, from what they showed off, I was really, really impressed. So Chris, I'm going to start with you on this one, because I know last episode you thought this was going to be a pretty low-key, sleeper game. So what do you think about it?
I think it's going to be more high-key now. Like, I got to like crank it up from low to high, because I think after this reveal or presentation, whatever you want to call it, I think it definitely caught way more of the casual people, because we all kind of knew it was coming, but I kind of feel like you kind of had to be a little bit more on the hardcore side to know some of the details. Whereas this was like Hogwarts Legacy to the world. You know what I mean? And now another thing that kind of puts into perspective for you is just how far this franchise has come as a franchise. Like, people cannot say that this is not. It's become such a big pop culture thing that it's almost on a level of like Star Wars and some of these other big
no doubt
things that have come out, you know? And it's wild to think about it. That's what it is. So as soon as this hit the mainstream, yeah, I think it really, really, really started to catch heat for real, because then you got to look at what the actual trailer was. And man, I'm telling you, man, this game got some serious potential, bro. Serious. And one of the biggest things I think is, they've been able to capture the small details that they kind of get right in the movies, but in video game form, and I think it's translating very well. That is one of the best things about those movies. Harry Potter, you had the book, and then the book became a film, and then it was like the film truly like came to life in a sense. I don't know if there's a better representation of that from book to film. I really think Harry Potter like has the crown for that. But everything in Harry Potter feels like it's alive, down to the newspaper, down to the photographs, down to the brooms, down to the snitch in the damn Quidditch tournaments. All that stuff feels alive. You know, I'm pretty sure you could take a walk in the forest and step on a certain patch of grass, and the blades of grass might turn around. And like you don't know it's Harry Potter. Everything's magical, and they captured that very well. It looks like from the presentation, man. Man, and you could be a dark wizard if you want to. I can hail our Lord. Bro, what? What? He who shall not be named?
You about to turn into he who shall not be named.
What? Man, please. Give me one of them little crooked wizard wands, man. I'm about to be out here doing all kind of crazy shit, man. I can't wait. Let me get out of my classroom first, and then let me get out into the real world, which is kind of where I think they're going to take it. Very Bully-esque. Bully has you in the school at first, and then he kind of like let you free on the actual world. Man, it has a lot of potential. They got pets. They got fantastic beasts that you can have as a pet. Like, bro, what? If you have RPGs, it's already up my alley. And you add some pets, bro, you're talking my language. You're talking my language, bro. So yeah. I'm hoping this doesn't fail, man. It also looks beautiful. I don't know if it's on UE5. It looks kind of like it was in some parts, and then other parts not so much, so I'm not sure. But regardless, the graphics look really good and smooth. Man, I'm excited, man. They made it seem like they also are taking their time with this to kind of like make sure it's a real explorational kind of thing, not just something where you're just in the school. You know, because we all know the school, we all know how all that stuff works. I think the biggest question most fans would have is what happens outside of the school, and let me find out about some of the creatures that live around the school. And you know, there's a lot of mysteries to that place. How many movies have we watched where there's another mystery unraveled about Dumbledore, or another mystery unraveled about Hagrid? There's always something going on in there. There's some dark shit that happened 20 years ago that they covered up until now. Or one of these prisoners from down in the depths came out of nowhere. Now he's crazy. There's always friggin' something in Harry Potter. You know, it's just how it is.
Even in the movies, there's like certain things that they like allude to, but they don't really like dive too deep into it. So it's like, even if they were just to focus on the inside of the school, there's so many secrets inside the school alone. Then you're talking about, you know, like they mentioned there's some puzzles that you have to solve on the school grounds, like outside, that like Merlin may have made in the past, and all that different type of stuff. And it's like, dude, that's just cool. Like the forest and all that stuff, like different creatures that you may either have to avoid or try to protect because they're about to get poached and whatnot. Like there's so much to the game that they showed off in that 15-minute time frame that it's like, dude, like your head's spinning by the end of it.
Also, in my last point, I'm sorry, I know I keep going. I have to ask y'all, do y'all think that there's going to be multiple versions of PvP in this game? Because I kind of get that impression. I think they're going to let people do duels, you know, with the wands and shit. But then I'm also thinking about, they look like they kind of put a lot of work into like to writing on the stuff and doing things like Quidditch and all that. So like, wouldn't that also be technically considered like PvP-esque if it's really in the game?
I think from what I recall, they said straight up that there's no like co-op or multiplayer aspects right now.
That's trash.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I would rather them do it this way and perfect like what the world is, and then maybe like down the road you can add that or whatever. Like I like the way that they're doing it now. So like if later on you want to add the Quidditch stuff and you want to add like duels because the combat looks sick.
Yeah, that's why I kind of want it.
Yeah,
you know?
the combat looks really dope. Like the way, like something about the way he's like casting the spells and then turning around, casting another spell. Like I don't know, something about it. Just it reminds me of like
it's just smooth, bro.
But like remember like Devil May Cry where like Dante used to shoot the guns and then turn around and then shoot. Like, it just kind of reminds me of that in a way. Yeah, it looks really cool for sure. Manny, I want to get your point. Your thoughts on the game though, real quick before we go on.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Well, me personally, I'm not a big like Harry Potter or anything like that fan. I never watched the movies, so like, yeah, the game. Hey,
don't do him like that, yo. Because I only just recently got caught up on. I still need to finish the last movie, but like, I've only recently got up on those movies, so.
Oh no, but you haven't seen not a movie, not any of them.
Nope, not even Fantastic.
Not even by accident, because like that should be on TBS all the time. You not even by accident.
Nope. No, it was just one of those things that never really caught my attention as a kid.
Whose man's, bro?
But like the game does look solid, but the problem is since I don't have any connection to the movies or anything like that, and they're like selling like a lot of things that a lot of Easter eggs that you would know if you like know a lot about the series, is like it's a nice little fan service, and I appreciate them for doing that. But like I said, for me as somebody new to the franchise, like the game looks good, but I don't know if I would be like interested to shell out $60 or $70 depending on the price tag on this game, just because I am new to the franchise. Like maybe if I do a little more research and watch the movies, maybe I probably would want to. Because it's like, yeah, you should.
No, not even just saying it because I like them, but like, how could you? I don't get how you played that game without at least seeing one of the movies. You should at least do one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like for somebody who's new to it, like I don't know. I just personally don't see myself picking it up day one, maybe if it was on sale or on Game Pass. But I do like to touch the detail, like they're mentioning about not only like the schools, the secrets, and like outside the villages and everything like that, but like some of the mechanics, like when he was like building some stuff or making spells, and like they were saying like you can like I was talking about like the spells like being made or like showed like for what you need for at that time, and like they like kind of got into it. Yeah. So I like the little attention to details. The combat, the combat do look good. I'm not gonna hate. And I like how they're saying how when you explore outside Hogwarts itself and you go to like the little villages, and how they're saying like they have like these little enemies they got to deal with, like the dark wizards and all that kind of stuff. So like I like the little intentional details. Again, for somebody who never, dipped their toes into the franchise itself,
I can't believe
I don't know if I would like personally buy it, but it does look like a solid game, and I'm sure it probably is a solid game for those who are big fans of the franchise.
Okay, Manny, look, man, you gotta watch at least the first Harry Potter, bro. You gotta do it.
That's like almost blasphemous. Like I think that's to me that's worse than somebody saying they never watched a Star Wars movie. Because I could get why somebody wouldn't watch a Star Wars movie. I think it is. I think it is.
You're wild.
You're talking about
Star Wars is way bigger than Harry Potter.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is like there are a lot of people out there who don't like that shit, and I get why they wouldn't even want to dip their toe into it. Whereas for me, Harry Potter is so, I don't know, it's so friendly. It's so easy for somebody to want to watch. I'm surprised that
because it's more modern.
So it's very likable. I don't know how else to put it. Like it's just, I don't know.
I feel like Star Wars is, that obviously it's just a matter of opinion, but like I feel like Star Wars is way more approachable than Harry Potter. There's less to remember. The original Star Wars movies, good versus bad. Like, it's literally that simple. You don't have to know like, oh, spells and this and that. Like, it's like
True.
good versus bad.
But I guess my point is that most of the folks that I know that don't like this shit or don't even want to give it a chance, like that's kind of like the point. Like, they don't even get to the point where they realize it's good versus bad in the story. They're just like, I don't want to watch this shit with alien dudes or what. They don't like that kind of stuff. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
interesting.
So
I feel like generally speaking, most people are okay with sci-fi as opposed to like high fantasy. High fantasy or fantasy in general tends to put people off way quicker than sci-fi. People can wrap their heads around like aliens and like a lightsaber, especially considering how old Star Wars is. Like, most people were born and Star Wars just existed in their lives. They knew that that's what it was. Like, it was like they didn't really have to wrap their heads around it. Like, they grew up in that pop culture. Whereas when you factor in like Elden Ring is another example, right? Like, I've heard a couple people tell me that they weren't interested in even touching that game because of the high fantasy element of that game, right? Like, high fantasy puts people off way quicker from my experience than sci-fi does. So I feel like Star Wars is way more approachable.
That's so interesting to me. I firmly feel the opposite.
Hey, man,
Firmly,
I'm
that's
an
crazy.
example. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't catch my interest as much as probably you, and like, that's just my opinion.
Well, now, I used to read these shits before the movies even came out, so that's why I was hella into it. And I was a nerd back then, reading mad books, so it just worked. It just worked. But like, yeah, it's just incredible to me because like, it's one of those movies that literally comes on all the time. This is like somebody telling me they never seen Baby Boy. Like, bruh, this shit was on TV all the time. Or Friday, that shit is on TV all the time. How did you miss it, bro?
I feel like there's a major assumption that people be like watching TV. Like, I don't watch TV ever.
I guess,
anymore.
yeah. Maybe I'm
like,
off on that one. Yeah, you're right.
Like, you're never it'll almost never be that I'll catch something on TV right now. Like, if I'm watching something, I'm
I didn't think about
purposely
that.
watching it. So yeah, that just
you're
doesn't
right.
exist anymore.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I do still understand what you're saying though. Like, there are like these mega franchises that, like, I feel like Baby Boy is a bad example. I feel like that's a cultural thing more than anything. just gonna throw that out there real quick for you. Baby Boy is a cultural thing. But when you talk about like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Avengers, I already blinked. I know I'm missing a couple other things, but like, the sphere of those things are so large that when somebody says I've never seen that, it's like, holy shit, that's weird. Like, we have a friend that we play Xbox with who just got into all the Star Wars movies, and like, he's like a kid now. Like, every 5 seconds he's referencing something about Star Wars because he's never been exposed to it. And I remember when we were first talking about it, I was like, bro, how have you never seen a Star Wars movie? Like, that makes no sense to me. It's just so like ingrained in the culture of our world that it's just like, Luke, I am your father jokes and things like that. That like lightsabers, the Force, all those things are so ingrained in our culture that like, it's weird that anybody would not know what it is. And I was honestly kind of surprised when Manny said that, because I think Harry Potter was like starting to kind of blow up when he was a kid. So I would expect that to be a thing that he was exposed to in his childhood, but I guess not.
Yeah, even my parents were. They weren't hitting.
Oh, you know what though? That actually does make sense.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
either.
that does make sense now.
Yeah, that makes a little. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Okay, yeah, Manny's upbringing is a little
not
different.
Even
guys.
making no jokes. I just get it.
No. I respect that. Manny's upbringing was a little different, so it makes sense that he may not have been exposed to that.
Cause, man,
like, maybe if I have like a day, like, it's funny because like, I was talking to one of my coworkers and she was telling me like they have like a whole like week in December dedicated to just Harry Potter movies, and I'm just like, I don't know how I can do that.
The movies are really good, man.
Movies.
I really have to say,
they're really good movies, man.
I got into them as an adult, and like, they're pretty good. And I still haven't gotten to like the Fantastic Beasts stuff, which seems to be more catered for like adults. So I can't wait to get to that.
Yeah, those movies are excellent. Like, it's the one. I'm telling you, man. To me, I don't think there's a franchise better that has done it from book to movie.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I can't think of anything either.
I'll give it a chance. Yeah, I'll try. Like, I'll pick one day out of the year. I'll just pick a random day, and I'll just be like, okay, let me just watch this one movie, or if it's good, I'll watch another.
It's so feel good, bro. Like you gonna feel good when you watching it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna It's a good film, bro. You gonna
Hey,
like
man.
it, bro.
I'm trying to feel good too. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be like Chris.
Man.
All right. Well, yeah, we got to get Manny watching Harry Potter.
Yo, I will
at
watch
some
it with
point.
you, bro. I will.
But
I will.
Yeah, I think this is a good place for us to leave it. We were going to talk about the potential Sony Game Pass announcement that's rumored to happen next week, but I think we'll just wait till it actually happens. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Before we go, Manny, I'm going to let you start it off. Where can people find you, bro?
You already know. Twitch.tv/GoMasterFlex, as well as Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, GoMasterFlex _. The only difference is on Instagram it's _TTV, but other than that, it's just, underscoring your way to my DMs.
All right. And then Chris, where can the people find you, man?
How do you start getting like Manny? Y'all can find me on everything. MAY25THXX. And once again, that is on everything. I'll let you, boy. God damn it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then, of course, guys, you can find me everywhere at Black Ice 8. On Xbox, Twitter, Twitch, all the above. Only differences on Instagram and on TikTok. You can be Black Ice 8 _gaming. And of course, make sure to check out our podcast Twitter. That's probably one of the most active places we are right now. It's at Xpack Pod. I think that's it for this week, guys. Thank you again for watching and listening. We will check you guys out next week. Peace.